I started with eco-design. I didn't know anything about the field. I was completely blank, and the reason I was put there was a sign of the responsibility of the directors, because at that time the Philips business was very bad. Philips almost collapsed at that time because of all the losses. But they say, well, there's something going on in the environmental field, and we must know what's going on there. So let's take somebody who is experienced in this organization and let him find out what we can do, which was a great challenge. But on the other hand, there's one thing which is very important. It was new. And when something is new, there are lots of opportunities, and you could find out yourself what would be the best strategy for the company, what fields would be interesting and promising. Well, you came across very complicated issues and problems too, how to reconcile something as environmental, which is a societal or a public good, and let's say money of a company, which is basically self-interest, and that's something we had to deal with as well. Otherwise, if you're doing nice environmental things, and as Martin said, you don't take care of the implementation, you will run into problems soon, which means that you have to find out what is the relation between the environment and the business, what is the relation between environment and value, what are the best fields in which a specific company can move, how to do this in a simple way, so that not just you as an environmental specialist, but a much wider variety of people inside an organization can contribute. Well, that is what I've been working on continuously in basically three fields. One is eco-design as such. One is eco and management, and there is an important message for you, particularly when you are a designer. It's not good enough in the environmental field, but also in other fields, to have a nice, great design, but in some way or another you have to make sure that it also comes to the market. And in between your nice design and being really on the market, there are a lot of hurdles to be overcome. So that's not unique for environment, you find it everywhere. So for me, environment has been a source of inspiration, and you can learn in that field a lot of things which also apply outside. And that's what I say all the time also to my students. Well, these are examples from the environmental field, but they have a much broader significance than just environment. Martin already had quoted the example of the sustainable dance floor. What is the significance of the sustainable dance floor? Well, through the dancing you generate some energy. And if you look with the cold eyes of a physicist and you say how many watts or kilowatts are generated, it's disappointing. However, the very fact that at this club there was the sustainable dance floor, how did it work out? It worked out in two ways. One was that the management of the dance club suddenly started looking at all kinds of environmental issues around their dance club, which had never been considered there before. What's the energy use of the dance club? Well, what is the water consumption? Imagine how much water you can save just by looking in a smarter way at flushing the toilets at the dance club. It's amazing. It's much more than generating this few kilowatts with the dance club. On the other hand, apparently designs or dance clubs have, apart from a physical value, which means you can go there and you can dance. An economic value that you say, well, you pay a certain amount of money that. The dance club is also something with a high emotional value. The fact that you had a sustainable floor increased tremendously the people visiting the dance club. So through the environmental product, you were adding value. In traditional eco-design, we're always talking about lowering the environmental load. That's still a valid strategy, but there is a new dimension of which we became aware of in the last years, that is through eco adding value. And that is particularly something which is relevant for designers, because added value means, and when you take the eco a bit broader, it means, for instance, adding quality to a life. And through your design, you lower the environmental load, but you give people a feel good. You adding quality of life to that. And in our rich societies in the Western world, and we are still rich in spite of all problems and in spite of all crisis, even the ones of today, there are a lot of people who are prepared to pay money for quality of life. And that's one of the things we discovered also working for Philips, that you say make products on one hand which lower the environmental load, but also make products which add to quality of life, and that's value. And for these products, people are prepared to pay more.